Well, happy Monday to you, church. It's good to be with you, and we apologize we're a little later than we usually are, and no good reason except there's a lot going on in our house, and I'm sure there is a lot going on in yours as well. And I'm finding myself a lot of times being wide awake, whether it's early in the morning or middle of the night, whatever the case may be, because there's just so much going on, not just in our house and our lives, but just in the world around us. And that's been real for us since March. And I was kind of just reminded today as we're getting ready for something big, and that's our brush, upcoming in our house. I heard a song. It just reminded me of one of the Hebrew words that we had talked about for worship way back when, if you remember. There were 7 of them, so there is a quiz coming up. You can do your review. But one of them was Towdah, and that one was specifically a word for worship, meaning that you raise your hands in expectation when you worship. You expect God to show up someday, somehow, in a big way. And you worship with expectation, knowing that He's going to come and fulfill the promises that He's told us He will. And to go with that song was a song that a lot of you may be familiar with. It was very popular and sung a lot within the last 20 years or so. And it's the song "I Lift My Hands." And I'm going to read some of those words to you. Be still, there is a healer. His love is deeper than the sea, and His mercy is unfailing. His arms is a fortress for the weak, so let faith arise. And be still, there is a river that flows from Calvary's tree, a fountain for the thirsty, your grace that washes over me. So let my faith arise. And I lift my hands to believe again, because you are my refuge, you are my strength. As I pour out my heart, all of these things I surrender, because you are faithful, God, forever. And in the next few, really like month and a half, it's going to be a while, but that's okay. It's actually a lot of good stuff. Pastor Nate, Pastor Sam, Pastor Mike are going to be diving into the idea of where is Christ in our crisis. And there's going to be a variety of topics that are very fitting to a lot of us. It's true. It will be, yeah. And for me specifically, this song really hit home. And the reminder of that worship, the word for worship, that we do expect God to show up in a big way. We do. It's true. It's getting close to bedtime. I don't know if you can tell, but we in our crisis it is, I guess, in a way, as believers in Jesus, that we can expect God to show up. We know He will show up. We know that when there's hardship and there's no hope and it just seems like there's nothing but darkness and no light and no hope, that God will show up someday in a big way. And so that word and that song they're two very good things that we do believe in. And it's reminded me too, at least in our life, in our household, and again, specifically in the last however many months since March, in the book of Judges, chapter 2, it gives us a very brief summary of how after Joshua's rule was over for the Israelites, and he actually had died and passed away, that the next generation fell away from God. The next generation that was coming up to take over the leadership among the Israelites had fallen away from God, and they forgot about the goodness of God, and they forgot about the promises God had for them specifically, which ultimately, as you know, led to a time where there was a lot of struggle, a lot of stress, and a lot of hopelessness. But again, we have the benefit of knowing the outcome, right? We have the benefit of knowing that Jesus bought our salvation, and He rose again to give us that hope that we need to get through each and every day. And He gives us the reassurance by saying, take heart, I've already overcome the world. There's nothing for you to worry about. Just focus in on me. And so that's the hope I guess I'm hoping I'm giving you. And Josiah is too, if you can't tell. We're very both. There it is. He's hoping that you're getting it. Is that we can expect God to show up in a big way. So when we worship together on Sunday, or when you're worshiping in your home, or whatever it may be, go to sleep tonight, wake up tomorrow morning, knowing that God is going to show up in a very big way. In His timing, of course, but He promised That's right. But he promises he will. Amen, church? Amen. You got anything else you want to say? Of course not. We love you. Have a good night, church.